4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
We start things off first and forward with breaking news on President Trump's tariffs against 2 of America's trade partners. He says there will be a 25% tariff on imports from Japan and South Korea, set to take effect August 1st. The president says the move is aimed at addressing trade deficits and policies that hinder American exports. The president urging both countries to manufacture goods in the U.S. to avoid the tariffs. Trump is also warning tariffs could increase if Japan or South Korea retaliate. The announcement has already impacted U.S. stock markets, with the Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ all seeing significant drops. More letters to other countries are expected ahead of a July 9th deadline for deal negotiation. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan and Police Chief Todd Bettison are launching a summer safety plan following a series of violent incidents in the city. This comes after a pair of shootings on Detroit's east side that left 3 teenagers and a 2-year-old hospitalized. Since June, there has been at least 6 shootings in the city involving minors, 4 of them fatal. As part of the new plan, they're aiming to get tougher on curfew violations.
You look at what's happened, there are two problems we're seeing this year that we did not see as much last year. Number one, the problems are running later in the evenings. Now we're seeing them at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And second, it is far more young people. We've had a dramatic drop-off in shootings of people 25 and up. What we have seen, unfortunately, are way too many young people.
Because we realize that young people unsupervised, and the key is they need to be supervised by a responsible guardian or parent. But that applies to the whole city as well. And so we are starting today, but I've already put the instructions out. Every member of the Detroit Police Department will make that a priority as far as curfew enforcement.
On our 8 a.m. streaming newscast on Local 4 Live, Nick Monticelli had a chat about curfew enforcement with our crime and safety expert Darnell Blackburn, a former police officer who's had to enforce curfews himself.
When we hear curfew, a lot of people think it's just, the government, or in this case, the city of Detroit police trying to, dampen kids' fun. That's not what this is. This is about safety, and as we just read through that list, got a lot of people getting shot.
Yeah, it's about just responsibility as parents. Mm-hmm. Parents making sure that they're responsible for their children. And it doesn't mean that you can't let the kids be out. It just means that they're supervised.
Right.
That you're in the vicinity, that you know what's going on as a parent, and that you are accountable for them and making sure that they are behaving properly. I mean, here's the reality. We know our kids. We know our kids, and we know they're good, they're bad. And so, again, the curfew, it's not Big Brother saying, hey, the kids can't be outside. It's just saying be responsible and be accountable.
For a full breakdown of the changes of curfew hours or the amounts of fines, you can head to clickondetroit.com. We have got it all laid out for parents to check out and inform their families. Search and rescue efforts continue in parts of central Texas hit by the devastating floods as the death toll continues to rise today. At least 90 people are now confirmed dead, including 27 children and counselors from a girls' summer camp. Dozens of people remain unaccounted for at this hour. And now a flood watch is in effect, covering nearly 5 million people, with more rain and storms arriving today. Waterways in some of the most devastated parts of central Texas rising again Monday as more rain falls in the area. The elements hampering ongoing search and rescue efforts.
They're running into a lot of technical challenges with terrain, with water.
The Kirk County Sheriff's Office says over 400 local, state, and national first responders and more than a dozen canine units are helping in the search and rescue efforts. Here, a dramatic rescue after 2 people clung to a tree to save their lives. Others in the state, including children, were forced to swim to safety.
The flood started getting bigger, and it was going up to, we have bunk beds in our cabins, and it was going up to the top bunk, and we had one choice, and we had to swim out of our cabins.
I said a prayer when I was standing on my porch. Both my parents are deceased, and I said, Mom, Dad, God, help.
The death toll continues to rise, including 27 campers and counselors from Camp Mystic along the Guadalupe River.
I've lost near friends, best friends, my boss, my godchildren.
The Hill Country community now questioning if anything could have been done to prevent this tragedy.
Everyone here, if we could have warned them, we would have done so. And we didn't even have a warning.
While survivors come together in their grief.
The outpour of people near, far, it's been incredible.
And unfortunately, that weather situation in Central Texas is not improving. Kim Adams here with a look at what folks are facing, because that ground, as you were talking about earlier, it's so saturated.
I mean, the ground is saturated. They've had just an enormous amount of water in the past week, including this morning. More rain fell, adding to this total here. You can see the legend up there. In some parts of Texas, right along that river, they've had as much as 23 inches of rain. Much of it fell in a very short period of time. And so you can see 23.2 right in Kerr. And there's just the topography, what is down there, just can't handle that water. And right now we're still tracking some showers and thunderstorms that are just now to the northwest of that area, and they are going to see more rain. So here's Kerrville right here, and you can see the rain off to the north and east. Here's what we're expecting. So 5 o'clock today, that rain's going to move in right over the same area that got the highest totals, and then more rain possible tomorrow. And by tomorrow night and into Wednesday night especially, around 8:30, 9 o'clock, you can see the oranges there indicating heavy rainfall, and that's going to certainly hamper some of those efforts in that area. So we'll talk a little bit more about Texas, and then we have to focus on our weather back here in Metro Detroit coming up.
Back, Kim. Hundreds of nurses and other staff at McLaren Macomb Hospital walked off the job this morning. Strike involves 700 workers in the OPE IU Local 40, including nurses and medical and lab technicians. They're picketing against what they're calling unfair labor practices. The union says it is fighting for a fair wage and wants the facility to be fully staffed. McLaren Macomb offered their side in a statement this morning, which reads in part, while the hospital would prefer to settle negotiations and reach agreements on a new collective bargaining agreement, the union has demonstrated no willingness to discuss reasonable and sustainable terms. Fully licensed and qualified nursing and support staff have been secured to ensure a safe environment to provide patient-focused care is maintained. Now, in their statement, McLaren Macomb says their latest offer includes what they call a market-leading compensation package, a 15% pay increase over 3 years, bringing the top of the scale to more than $59 an hour. Staffing ratios in line with the national benchmark, bigger retention bonuses, and time and a half for nurses who pick up a shift after working 36 hours in a week. Nurses we spoke with today said the top priority is staffing.
What is this like for you to be out here today, and what are the issues that you're fighting for?
This is my second time, and every time it's for safe staffing.
Let's talk about those nurse-to-patient ratios. I know that was an issue that nurses in Rochester were concerned about.
Same thing. There's not enough staff. You can't do it with no aides, no hooks.
We have one goal here, and is to fight for our patient safety and our nurses' safety. This is a long-term fight for the dignity and safety of our nurses and of our patients. We are here because of that. We are here because of our community.
Demonstration set to last 2 more days, but those staff members won't be back on the job until next week. They're effectively locked out. McLaren says it had to commit to paying replacement nurses for at least 5 days. Their statement says, regretfully, this has left McLaren with no other option than to inform the nurses unit that they are prohibited from returning to work until 7 a.m. Sunday, July 12th. Voters opposed to a $150 million bond proposal are rallying to drum up support ahead of tonight's Leavonia City Council meeting. Now, the bond includes plans for a new police station and library, and voters will have their say on August 5th. Will Jones live near Leavonia City Hall with more on this proposal. Will, I understand a demonstration gets underway there in about an hour.
Karen, the Vote No demonstration gets underway around 5 o'clock here at Leavonia City Hall. It goes until 7 ahead of the City Council meeting tonight that gets underway at 7. But it's important to mention that this bond proposal isn't on the agenda for City Council. Now, this bond proposal deals with building a new library, which is near City Hall, as well as a police station, renovating all fire stations, and creating a Central Park Plaza with a walking and biking loop. The $150 million bond will be paid over 25 years, costing the average homeowner less than $12 per month, according to the city. This is phase 3 of a 4-phase project that seeks to revitalize Livonia's Civic Center area and create a true City Center. Phase 3 is the only phase, though, that requires taxpayer contribution. About an hour ago, I spoke with Leavonia City Council member Robert Donovic about why this bond is necessary.
The fact of the matter is today, the world's different than when these buildings were built in the 80s and the 70s and so on. So why would we continue to spend good taxpayer dollars on bad buildings?
When we see you back here at 6, that demonstration will be going on again outside of Leavonia City Hall. Also, we will share reaction from both sides on this issue from voters. We're live in Livonia. Will Jones, Local 4.
All right, hot topic over there in that community. Thanks, Will.